tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, Emma Medeiros, who's the president of Medeiros Fashion Public Relations. She'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. Like I said, I have a very special guest for you, Miss Emma Medeiros.
Hello.
Fashionista.
So glad to be here.
And look, absolutely amazing. Love the outfit. And Happy New Year, by the way.
Thank you. Yes. Happy New Year. My goodness. How is it already 2019?
2019
How did that happen?
in full effect. We are in 2019.
Oh, my goodness.
But you're going to help style us a little bit.
Oh,
you're
yes.
going to really make sure
Absolutely.
you set the tone for
Oh,
2019.
yes.
So
Absolutely. No
definitely-
excuses this year.
No excuses. It's definitely about, learning a little bit about you and fashion and all that good stuff. But yes, let's kind of dive into it. Who is Emma Medeiros?
Scary thought.
Scary.
I'm like, well. So I started Medeiros Fashion PR, or Medeiros Fashion Public Relations, about 3.5 years ago because I got my degree from Emerson College in Boston in marketing communications. So underneath that degree, you can do public relations, you can do advertising. There's a few things that you can do with that degree. And I chose to do public relations because it's based on merit instead of money. So what that means is when the average person sees an ad, whether it's in a magazine, on a billboard, whatever, they know that it is a paid ad.
Mm-hmm.
So in the public mind, they think that whether or not your product or service is any good, if you have the money, you can buy that ad. Right?
And that's valid.
It's just, right, it's based on money. Versus what I do, yes, my clients pay me for my service and my time, but I reach out to journalists and that sort of thing. They're not paid to write about you. They're paid to write a story, not about you. So if they do anyway, it actually means a lot more in the public mind. It's called third-party credibility. So it's almost like getting a recommendation from a friend for a movie or a restaurant. You might see an ad about, hey, there's a new restaurant in my area.
Exactly.
But if your friend, who's not paid by the restaurant, that we know of, says to you, oh my God, they got the best food and the best service, you're going there the next night. Because somebody who's not paid is endorsing it anyway. So that's the reason why I chose to do PR. And the whole plus-size PR, so Medeiros Fashion PR is the first PR firm in the U.S. to specialize in the plus-size fashion industry. I honestly couldn't believe nobody else was doing it. I was like,
Doesn't
really? Because the plus-size industry has been exploding the last few years. So when I decided to do this, to specialize in plus size before I had my own firm, I thought I would have my pick of firms to work for that specialize in. Like, there's got to be a few, right? And I couldn't find a single one. So I was like, okay, we can't have that. So, sooner or later, someone was going to do it. So might as well be me.
Absolutely.
So that's how Medeiros Fashion PR was born.
Oh, my goodness. But when you think about it, and you said something quite interesting, that plus size fashion has seemed to be exploding.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
there's just more awareness.
Exponentially, yes.
On it.
Well,
which is-
awareness and opportunities for fashion. Because now you can go to, I don't want to say almost any store, but more stores than there used to be, and there are at least a small plus size department. It used to be unheard of. There were only a couple, like Lane Bryant, Ashley Stewart, that was it. That were the only options. But now there are so much more.
And that's amazing. I really think that's important because beauty really, it's so, fashion has gotten a big backlash.
Oh, yeah.
For always
Being
pushing
super
it.
skinny and
Yes.
unattainable. And many years ago, that's what the audience wanted to see. They wanted something to aspire to, this unattainable creature. And now it's like, well, I want to see me. I want to see,
Exactly.
and most importantly, how the clothes that I'm spending, God knows how much money for, are going to fit on me. No matter how pretty the size 2 is, I can't picture, how it's going to look on me, a size 18-20.
And it's so funny you said that
Yes.
because years ago I was a part of Couture Fashion Week.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And with me being on the slimmer side, I was still told I was big.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And I'm like...
I've heard of size 2 models being like, you got to lose weight.
And I'm like,
What's wrong
oh,
with you?
yeah, I've got curves. I've got some hips. You know, I'm
But
more
that's
petite.
unacceptable.
But yeah, and they're like, you're stretching out my dress. And I would never forget being told I was stretching
Oh
out
my
somebody's
goodness.
dress.
At a size, what, 4?
4.
If that, right? At the
Yeah.
time? Yes.
And
No.
I was like, okay, yeah, this is not for me.
Yeah.
As much as I love fashion, I prefer the business aspect of it versus, you know, because I'll never forget being told by certain designers, the models are just the hangers. You have one purpose, and they let you know.
I mean, I think that's changing as well. I definitely think that's changing as well. I mean, I have several model clients. They're not just coat hangers. They're ambassadors for brands.
Yes.
They have these causes that they're fighting for. They are not just a pretty face. You know, and I think that's definitely
great.
changing. Yeah. So if you want to try again now, you would probably have better luck.
Yes, because the industry has changed, the mentality has changed,
Yes.
so that's great. But how did you start to really develop your love for fashion? When did that happen?
It's so funny because my husband like always threatens to show pictures of me like at 18, like in overalls and something god awful because I used to be the anti-fashion girl. I mean, I like when I was in high school, I barely woke up in time to like brush my face and hair and everything. Like that was all my beauty routine. And I think when I got to college, I was like, 18, 20 the first time because I went back to college later on. I started to feel more comfortable in my own skin because even though I wasn't like super heavy, I was, just getting into plus size, but I always had a big chest. From the time I was 12, I was a D cup. I was a D cup. That's unusual.
That's kind of lucky,
so
though.
I know, but to me, I grew up like really conservative and
Yes.
Catholic and everything. And I was like hiding it. I was always hiding it, like these big, my older brother's shirts, these big baggy. I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? But when I started to feel more comfortable in my own skin at like 19, 20-ish, is when I really realized, hey, clothes can make a difference in how you feel. Not just how you look, but like you feel, special and flirty and this sort of,
exactly.
festive. And there are so many different ways to use clothes that are not just functional, that it used to be for me. It's like just throw something on. If it fits, that's fine. And clean,
Like that, functionable.
preferably.
Right. And then you got into that and you started really made this into a career.
Yes, I did. Yep. I used to work at Sephora, so I worked at Sephora for 10 years, which I love Sephora. So I definitely have a lot of beauty experience as well as fashion. And about 2 years ago, I was able to quit and do Medeiros Fashion PR full time.
That's fantastic.
So I'm my own boss.
Getting to be your own boss.
Yes. I mean, it's a lot of work. I always tell people the best thing about being my own boss is that I can do whatever I want. And the worst thing about being my own boss is that I can do whatever I want.
Yes.
And people are like, how is it the same thing? I'm like, well, obviously the best thing is that I've controlled my schedule, as far as, I can decide who to hire and who to fire, like all of that. But you do have to have a lot of discipline.
You do.
Because no one's getting you up in the morning. No boss is calling you to say, hey, you're late. You have to really set your own hours and stick to that and find what works for you. People think I'm crazy because I usually get up at like 12, 1 o'clock. They're like, I thought you owned your own business. I'm like, yeah, but fashion is a night industry. So I'm usually up till 3, 4 in the morning doing work. Yeah.
That's true, because there's
Yes.
so many, especially when you're going to see here in New York. They
Yes.
are events nonstop.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you have to be up for that. Like,
Yes.
It's
not 9 to 5.
It's
It is not 9 to 5 at all. Yeah.
and it's great. There's a lot of fun in it.
There is.
There's a lot of great events. So, Fashion Week, be it September, February, you're going to be very, very busy.
Oh, yes. Well, not only Fashion Week, but Full Figured Fashion Week, Curvy Con, like all of these plus size as well.
Absolutely. Well, hold that thought. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. So, Emma, tell us a little bit about some of the fun clients that you've had the opportunity to represent in the last couple of years.
My client base has grown exponentially. One of my favorite ones is actually Nell Tipton, who was the very first plus size winner of Project Runway. So she has this amazing style it's like fun and girly without being like, older women can wear it as well as younger. It's like really cross-generational. I love working with her. I have several model clients, one of which is Jennifer Lindbrandt from the DC area. She's actually a vet, an Army vet. She was in the vet Army for 12 years. And you think it's like, how do you go from a vet to a model? But she really like does that seamlessly.
You've had a couple people.
Yes, surprisingly. It's a tough chick. Several models in everywhere. I have clients all over. People don't necessarily have to be local to me. I don't have to be local to them, thanks to the internet and everything. So I have a photographer, Jose Pagan, who's an amazing fashion photographer, especially in the plus industry. And every year, this year is his 4th year of doing a photo tour. So he goes to different cities to do quick, like 1 hour, 2 hour shoots for people that can't get to him in New York and that can't afford a full photo shoot. So I love that about him. So I have a lot of different clients. Another one that I love is Keisha Greaves. She is the designer of Girls Chronically Rock. It is an inspirational clothing brand for women and men who struggle with chronic illnesses or who support people, like know people with that, because she has muscular dystrophy.
Wow.
I mean, some people, like you get a diagnosis like that, you think, oh my gosh, my life is over. It's a progression. There's no cure. Maybe there's a little treatment, but no cure. She's consistently more disabled. I've never once heard her complain, ever. I mean, I admire her so much. I mean, she's put all of her, what could have been negative energy into the positive energy of creating this brand. Her t-shirts say things like, rock your dopeness and like, hello, my name is chronically badass, things like that. They're just really empowering.
That's great.
Yes. So I have a whole roster of clients, and we do look for clients that cater not just exclusively to plus sizes, but including plus sizes. So for example, Keisha, she does extra small to 5X as well. So as long as the client includes plus sizes, you don't have to be exclusively plus size.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? The fact that you include all other sizes
I don't want to ignore you. I don't want to ignore the smaller girls. We just want equal treatment.
And you know what?
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine, because for a long time, I have plus size people in my family. And you would hear some of the challenges.
Oh, crazy.
And like you say, you go to a store and you've got 2 things to pick from, and it's like, and it's not, doesn't feel like it's custom made or anything is really made to fit.
And one of the big misconceptions I wanted to make clear too, huge misconception, is that plus size women and men for that matter, they don't want to spend a lot of money on clothes because they're always trying to lose weight. Huge misconception. I hear it all the time. Whether or not you're trying to lose weight, not every plus size woman is, you want to feel good in whatever size that you are. So, and the thing is, people don't realize that we're willing to spend more than a straight size because fit is so important to us. If we find a brand that really like kind of fits us like a second skin and just, really makes us feel great, we're going to spend whatever we have there, whatever we can do, because we feel comfortable with that brand. So people don't realize the brand loyalty and, the buying power of the plus size purse, I call it.
And what are the misconceptions? I love that we're talking about this because, we're kind of diving into something that doesn't get spoken about.
No, it does not. Well, another misconception that I get all the time, oh my goodness, because I specialize in plus size, people say to me, you're promoting obesity.
Get out of here.
Where did you hear this out of my mouth like that? I said...
First of all, just because of your size does not mean you're not healthy.
Exactly. So that's number one. So yes, I am overweight right now. But even when I get down to my goal weight, which is my doctor said between 180 and 200, I'm still going to be plus size even though I'll be very healthy because I'm half German, I'm 5'10", I got the shoulders, the boobs, the hips and everything like that. I'm a big girl with or without the weight. So not every plus size person is overweight, number one. And number two, I've never once said that obesity is healthy or something to strive for or anything. I think from a medical standpoint, purely medical, most people can agree that if your body is carrying more or less weight than what it should, it's not healthy. Right?
Agreed.
Pretty simple concept. But again, getting back to that feeling, I always promote the right of people, whatever size that you are, to feel good, to dress well, to make you feel good, because
that's important.
Exactly. Because, okay, so say I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm going to wear something fun like this, because if I just drape myself in a muumuu, I'm not going to feel good. I'm not going to feel sexy. I'm going to go to Ben & Jerry's and eat 10 pints. It's like, when you feel good, whatever size that you are, you want to keep that good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, I'll pass on